Hello everyone, and welcome back to the final part of Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back on the Sony PlayStation 1. I'm One Wild Sheep yet again, and we're going to start things off in this part, ladies and gentlemen, with another rocket level, because why not? Now, like I said, this is the final part, this is the grand finale of the game, so I hope you're all happy. I know I am, because this playthrough is, because it's had a couple of delays midway through. I'm kind of content. You know, I'm kind of happy to get this done now finally, so I can move on to my next project. But yeah, for this rocket level by here, this is basically more of the same of the previous rocket level. Only this one's a little bit more harder, as you can tell from all the steel pipes and what have you, and the insulated wires that are going to come and try and electrocute you. And you don't want to be touched by them, ladies and gentlemen. So just you know, just stay on your toes. This one is a hell of a lot more treacherous than the original stage, I will be perfectly honest, however, because, well, not only are there more lasers and more things you need to dodge, but everything seems to move at a faster rate. You just need to be a bit more careful, that's all there is to it. But in terms of the level itself, it's still as fun as the first one. The only kind of issue I have with it are the same issue I kind of have with these jetpack levels in the first place. By the way, the top left of the screen is glitched for some reason, I don't know, of course that. And the major issue I have with these levels are they feel rushed. Like, they feel like they were chucked into the game at the very last minute, and I just get the sense that Naughty Dog probably had a bigger plan with these type of levels, you know, making them a larger part of the game, what with Crash Bandicoot being in the jetpack at the title screen and what have you. But they never went through with it, that's what it seems like to me, because there's only 2 of these in the entire game, folks, and you know, for the rest of the levels that you can play, there's about 4 of each level type, you know, folks, but not with this one. And it's always just sort of, I've always thought of it as kind of jarring, to be perfectly honest. But, yeah. Ooh, sweet Aku Aku mask. I need one of you. You will heal me. You will keep me from damage. Which is all good. Like, areas by here where things are going to get a little bit more treacherous, considering there's multiple laser beams shooting at once and what have you, but you know, like I said, it's more of the same as the first level. These levels aren't really fleshed out. They're not really difficult in the slightest. Honestly, you should not have any trouble once you get used to the controls. That's the biggest obstacle with these stages. It's just getting used to the controls, getting used to knowing, okay, I need to look in between these nooks and crannies because there are boxes hidden about. That's all you need to worry about. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And apart from that, you know, it's a very straightforward stage. Literally, it's a straight line. The only thing that kind of bugs me, well, one thing it kind of, I don't know, I just think that somehow Naughty Dog might, you know, they would have had a bigger plan with this in terms of going to different areas, you know, going through different passageways, but they never really fleshed it out, and it's kind of a shame, because they could do lots with these on-rail type, you know, they could do a hell of a lot with this on-rail type of sequence. But alas, it is not to be. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the stage. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Just dodge the insulation wires. I could have sworn I just clipped into them then. And we are done and dusted. Oh my. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they should have fleshed those levels out a bit more. You know, and they would have rocketed this game up to a higher level. Yes. Because, get it? Because I use a jetpack. It would have rocked. Well, packing away our fantastic new collectibles, it's time to move on to the next level, which is the final level of the game. Okay, we're at it, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the final stage, we're at the final point. And this level is difficult. This is probably, if you ignore the gem in Cold Hard Crash, the hardest normal level of the game. And it's primarily because there's a lot of very picky jumps you need to make. You need to be pinpoint precise with almost all your jumps. A single mistake will probably cost you in this stage, folks. And it's not unfair. You know, it's still a lot easier on every single stage in Crash Bandicoot 1. But, you know, it's still kind of treacherous to go through. Anyway, moving on, you see this piston by here, when it goes down, be very careful because it can still crush you even though it doesn't actually touch the floor. I think I mentioned this in the previous part, but those pistons are an absolute nightmare when it comes to these sort of things. But anyway, now that we have all of the gems in the game, bar the ones in this level, we can now actually access this specific route. If you don't have every gem in the game, you will not be able to access this route, ladies and gentlemen, or at least every color gem you need. And the big deal with this route is, well, It's very easy to die getting to it and getting through it, but it's probably one of the hardest sequences in the entire game just to progress through. Because what you basically need to do is you need to go from point A to point B, jumping on each of the glowing coloured gem platforms to reach the end. And you basically, for each gem platform that you land on, you have a certain objective to clear. You have a certain challenge to overcome. For example, the blue gem platform challenge is primarily managing timing with a lot of crushes, and we basically need to think of the perfect time in order to just simply run straight through and get on by. We also have to time our jumps with a lot of these crabby enemies, so it's all about timing with this one, folks. Now that we've done that, we are moving on to the green platform, which involves a lot of these lasers, and these lasers are treacherous, absolutely treacherous. Make sure you have an Aku Aku mask going into here. If you don't have an Aku Aku mask going into this section, die until the game gives you one. Because trust me, it's very helpful, it's very useful, I recommend it. And now on this sequence by here, again, is more crushing pillars. The game really, really loves the crushing pillars with this one. But what I do feel is when we get further and further into the coloured gem pathway, it actually gets easier and easier as time goes on. Like, for some reason, instead of the challenge ramping up like you'd expect, the challenge sort of ramps downwards, where the first challenge is the hardest, then it gets easier and easier and easier every single time, up until we reach the purple platform and we reach the end of the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, there isn't the real end of the stage, it's just the end where we get hold of, I want to call it a Chaos Emerald then, we get a hold of the next gem. So, it's time to do the great thing and suicide, which makes us restart the whole thing from scratch. But, you know, there's a whole other stage to this, you know, folks. This is a long level. It's probably one of the longest levels, apart from Cold Hard Crash, because screw that stage, in the entire game. So be prepared when you're going through this one, you know, folks. Make sure you have, make sure you're basically in the mood, because otherwise, you know, you might get burnt out for playing the game for too long, which has happened before to me personally. But yeah, same rules apply yet again. Just be careful of the crushing pillars there. If they hit you, even if they don't hit the bottom of the screen, they will still crush you. I will keep emphasizing that fact, because that will basically mean life or death during the course of this battle. Like that enemy over there, if I jumped on him at the wrong time, I would have killed myself, because the crusher would have landed on me, you know, folks. But I digress. Most of the stage is really just timing, you know. You just need to learn the timing of all the enemy types and all the crushing pillars, and once you get the timing down, the stage is just easy. It's really, really easy. No one should have trouble with it, in my professional opinion, unless of course you do something stupid like that. But I digress. That didn't happen. Now, I did die quite a few times during the course of this level, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm only really showing off, like, the funny deaths and my initial death after each checkpoint, because I don't want this video to go on too long with me messing around so much in these stages. That's the beauty of doing LP's post-commentary, you know, folks. It's very easy to, go through and not get frustrated too much, because the editing's done. You know, you do the editing and suddenly, there we go, we got to the next checkpoint. When if I was recording this live, I would have gotten fed up like 10 minutes into this level, and I would have probably just stopped commentating altogether, which happens from time to time, you know. Anyway, now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to tackle the final bonus stage of the game, and this is without a doubt the not so much challenging, but it's very easy to do stupid mistakes like that during the course of this one, folks. So just be careful during this bonus stage. It is a little treacherous, and you do need to be pretty damn good with your jumping in order to get through it. But for the most part, it's just a generic run-of-the-mill bonus stage. Get from point A to point B, collect all of the boxes, and you know how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing I could probably give you trouble is by here, where we're going to need to do a little bit of tricksy platforming in order to get hold and break all of these boxes that are in our way. But, you know, it's not that bad. Bonus stage, the biggest threats primarily just the TNT nitro boxes and this bouncy section, because we need to We need to time our spin attacks just right in order to break the boxes on the top without it, well, messing us up in the grand scheme of things, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, that's a bonus stage. That's the final bonus stage done. We're writing off, we're checking off all of the objectives now. We're getting close to the end. You can just feel it. Oh, makes me feel all tingly inside. And also, the game gives us a free Aku Aku mask as well, which I appreciate. Now, if you die in the bonus stage, you lose whatever Aku Aku mask you currently have. And I don't think the masks actually respawn after you die. So be sure to not bother picking that up before going into the bonus stage, just in case. It is always good to have an Aku Aku mask on standby, just in case you do a stupid move like I did, which can really, really easily mess you up. Also, these alien saucer type enemies are a massive, massive frustrating deal during the course of this level. And oh, come on, I barely clipped that. I barely clipped it. I don't like that little section there with those burning hot pipes because, well, let's face it, they're very awkward to jump over, especially considering there's an actual ray gun right above you. So you need to be so precise with your jumps that you don't get clipped by the ray gun. So it's not fun. It's really not fun. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. This is the final level over and done with. We are done now, almost, with Crash Bandicoot 2. All we got left to do is the final battle, and victory will be ours. And of course, being the final level, I think it's time to give good old Crash Bandicoot his reward and allow him to dance properly. What do you say?
Yes! My plan is nearly complete, and I have you, Crash Bandicoot, to thank for it. Engine? What's happening? What's that? Is he giving our signal?
Crash! Cortex isn't going to use the crystals to contain the planet's energy. He's going to harness the force and use it to power the super Cortex vortex he has built on his space station. One blast of the ray will cover the entire world, turning everyone into Cortex's mindless slaves. Dun, dun, dun. Crash, don't let him have those crystals!
Engine, you fool! She's telling him everything! Ah, yes. We're back now. Pardon the, interruption. Crash, bring me...
He still, even after his gig is up, he still tries and gets us to give him the crystals. Why? He must be mad. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is the end of Crash Bandicoot 2. So now it's time to take on the final boss battle, which, if you remember the jetpack levels, the final boss battle is actually a modified version of the jetpack level, so I guess it is a neat way to end the game. It's a little bit different, and it may take a little bit of practice. Now, this boss battle by here does have a time limit as well, so we do need to be able to beat this boss fight before the time limit leaves. Before he leaves the area and the time limit runs out. Basically, there's this blue little vortex thing at the end of the world. You know, end of this little rampway. If we don't beat him by then, we lost. Now, what we need to do as well is to dodge the mines that are in the way, spin him whenever we're close enough, and whenever we come across an asteroid, if it's in our way, we will need to spin the asteroid in order to hurt it. Very short boss fight, very easy boss fight, but it can give you some trouble if you don't know what to do. But yeah, I like it. It's a nice end to the game, and the music is just fantastic. It just screams final.
No! You haven't seen the last of me, Crash Bandicoot!
That was a boss.
Crash, what do you suppose happened to Cortex? And what about the Cortex vortex? It's still up there.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the ending you get whenever you don't have all of the gems. Now, this shows by default whenever you beat the game for the first time, no matter what. But I'm not going to show off this credit sequence because the credits are exactly the same. It's just a slightly different ending sequence, so no need to watch it twice, basically. And when we reload the save file yet again, we get chucked into here with a neat new cutscene.
You have acquired all of the gems! Incredible! Crystals are not the only means of harnessing planetary energy, right? The gems have that ability as well, and with them, I can destroy the Cortex Vortex forever! Let me warp you to my completed laser installation. We are ready, Crash. Would you like to do the honors?
And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of Crash Bandicoot 2. Absolutely amazing game, one of my favourite platformers of all time, and I recommend you all to go and try this out if you get the chance to. It's available on the PlayStation Network and the original PlayStation 1, and like I said, this is my personal favourite in the Crash Bandicoot saga out of all of the games. Now, Crash Bandicoot 3 has, for the normal platforming levels, and for the most part, better gameplay and tighter controls. But the thing is, it sort of loses focus because of the amount of gimmick levels are thrown into the mix, which makes me prefer this one as a whole. However, fantastic game, and I cannot wait to tackle the third one. I know it's been a bit of a long delay during the course of doing this LP. You know, I had a little break midway through because of issues I had involving my PC. But I'm back now, so thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people, and I do recommend this game to everyone. The soundtrack is amazing. The graphics still hold up surprisingly well considering it's PS1. And the gameplay is raw platforming goodness. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people, and I will catch you all again in a different LP. Bye!
Ha 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 ha!